What is going on, fellow observers? It's Will, the Deep Sky Dude. I've got my very first review on this channel, many more to come. This is going to be a cool one. This is the Eclipsmart Travel Scope solar telescope by Celestron. And I'm going to do a little review on this, a little quick thing. The box is pretty nice, as you can see. It's got a lot of information on there, which we'll get to a lot of that other stuff later. Got some technical specs right here. If you need to pause the video, there you go. There's all the technical information. And so let's open her up, see what we got here. This thing retails for just under $150, between $100 and $150. So not too bad on the price thing. And so we're gonna see how that price stacks up to the quality of the product. You get this nice little backpack, which is kind of interesting. It carries the scope and all of the accessories that come with it, which is quite a bit of stuff, as we'll see here. Got the owner's manual with everything in there. Some cleaning cloths, very nice, and some included software that you can download online. We'll open the side pocket here, and the star diagonal we find there. I'll talk more in depth about this in a second. And a Kellner eyepiece, a 20mm eyepiece with this particular telescope. That's not going to give you very much magnification, but it'll give you good enough to see the sun safely, of course. So got some storage compartments here, some Velcro straps to hold in the tripod. Tripod came wrapped in this plastic, as you can see. A little bit more on the tripod in a little bit. As you can see, first impressions, not too bad. For the price as included with the telescope, it's not too bad at all. It is cheap, let's be real here. But for, you know, just over $100, what can you expect, right? This thing will hold the telescope. It does have fairly decent function. It does move, and it does seem to be fairly sturdy. Again, more on that in a second. And so we come to the final piece of the puzzle here, the telescope itself. And you can see the nice backpack straps there, little storage compartments here and there. And here it is, the Eclipsmart Travel Solar Telescope. It's got a nice little solar finder here that you can see, which has got this nice obstruction, and you can see on the back it is actually, it looks like it's vented for heat purposes, which I find kind of interesting and kind of hilarious at the same time. But I guess it would get kind of warm. Overall, aesthetically, the scope is fairly nice. Nothing special, you know. This is again, this is a small travel scope. Not meant to do a whole lot here, but just give you a general idea of where the moon is in conjunction with the sun as the eclipse is taking place later this year. August 21st, 2017, guys. If you haven't made plans, I would get on that as soon as possible. Remove the lens cap, and you can see how dark the glass is. Of course, there is a solar filter inside there built into the telescope, so you don't have to worry about it coming out or coming off or anything like that. It is very safe. Star diagonal. This thing, I can tell you my first impressions of this thing right off the bat is it's fairly cheap. I think the only metal piece on this thing is that set screw there at the top. Everything else is plastic. These two pieces are plastic. The diagonal thing is plastic as well. I guess the mirror is glass, and that's probably pretty standard. But yeah, you get it. Set the diagonal inside the focuser, and you're ready to go. This thing does require quite a bit of back focus there for this 20mm eyepiece. Now, this is a Kellner eyepiece. These are very cheap eyepieces. If you're looking to kind of just get into a telescope, or maybe you want to just add to your collection of eyepieces, Kellners are a very cheap option, and they're not bad. You know, there's a whole lot better out there, obviously, but for the price, you really can't beat some of these things in the practical sense. So we get this thing out under the sun, and again, overall impressions, first impressions of this thing, not too bad. For the price point, Celestron has put together a fairly decent package here. I'm not going to complain too much about the form and function of this thing, as, you know, like I keep saying, it is a budget scope. The tripod does extend fairly well to put the scope at a comfortable viewing location for most adults and you know, kids and stuff. Everybody that it's going to be able to make it to the eyepiece and get a view. You can see some technical stuff there. 50 millimeter, 360 millimeter focal length at f7.2, which is kind of nice. Okay, so I did some afocal photography. This is extremely hard with this telescope, folks. I love putting my cell phone up to the eyepiece of a telescope and capturing either solar, lunar, planetary, whatever. But this tripod and design makes things a lot more difficult. It's very shaky, very wobbly. If you even breathe on this thing, it moves. Again, it's a travel scope. It's made to quickly check the sun during an eclipse and see the progress of the thing safely. You can also see large sunspots with this, but guys, we're at solar minimum, so there's not a whole lot of activity going on up there in white light or hydrogen alpha. There is some things going on in hydrogen alpha, but white light is rather uneventful at the moment, unfortunately. But as we continue on, we'll start to head back towards solar maximum, and we'll get some more action. A little close-up of the tripod here. You can see the various knobs that are there for, you know, adjustment purposes. Again, it's a cheaper tripod, but it does the job. I'm fairly decently pleased with its ability to do the thing. It does have a level, which is kind of interesting, so you can level the thing off. I'm not really 100% sure what that's for, but it's there. You can see how much back focus this particular telescope needs to get a good focus on the sun, so it gives you an idea. And one last image of the sun. It's not bad. There is a little chromatic abrasion around the edge. You can see there slight discoloration of the sun, but overall, it's not too bad. I would give this scope a solid go for a go no go status, and I would give it out of a, if I had to rank it, between 1 and 10 stars, I would definitely say 6 stars for the price point and what it is and what it's used for. So there it is, guys. I hope y'all got something from it. Expect a lot more reviews and stuff like that on astronomical equipment, and we'll see you in the future. Thanks.